Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Solskjaer is refusing to quit Man United despite senior stars losing faith in tactics. Solskjaer is sure he can turn Manchester United's fortunes around. Now recently it's said that Manchester United have decided that they must replace Solskjaer, but it's still unclear when they'll sack him. Manchester United have started planning for their next manager to replace Solskjaer after the Manchester United board accept that the Norwegian must be sacked. Earlier on this week, Solskjaer returned to the Carrington training ground. Last week, Solskjaer was away in Norway after he granted his players a week off. Reports said earlier on this week that the Man United board had not made a decision on Solskjaer's future. Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Manchester United want to continue with Solskjaer for as long as possible, with a view to assess the situation in the summer. Last weekend, he said senior stars want Solskjaer sacked. That was stemming from Duncan Castles. And not so long ago it said 8 Man United stars feel misled by Solskjaer with the broken promises he made to them during the summer. Solskjaer is expected to be in charge for the game against Watford on Saturday, but that could be his last game as Manchester United manager. When Manchester United sack Solskjaer, they'll have to pay around £7.5 million, because in the summer he signed a new 3-year contract with an option of a further year, and Man United made a mistake giving him that contract, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. Solskjaer should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. If Man United would have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte, revert back to what I've said on my recent videos. And after the humiliation to Liverpool, it said Solskjaer had been given 3 games to save his job. He only won 1 of them 3 games. He's been given long enough at Manchester United. He's been in charge of Manchester United for almost 3 years. Now it'll be Brendan Rodgers or Zidane that replaces Solskjaer. Now Brendan Rodgers is ready to say yes to Manchester United if he's offered the job. Brendan Rodgers has been house hunting in Cheshire. Brendan Rodgers is the favourite to replace Solskjaer. Rodgers is preferred to Zidane. The Manchester Evening News said the other week, like I updated you, that Manchester United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause if Solskjaer gets sacked. And earlier on in the season it said Brendan Rodgers had already verbally agreed to become Manchester United's new manager, but it said his preference would be to wait until next season, because he said obviously he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. Should Brendan Rodgers replace Solskjaer? Would Brendan Rodgers transform Manchester United? Would he be capable of winning trophies at Man United? Would he get the best out of these group of players? Well, let's put it this way, he's a far superior manager to Solskjaer. You've got to admire what he's done at Leicester so far. At Leicester, he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup, and he's been in charge of Leicester for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with them until 2025. Now Zidane, I gave you the news on him yesterday night. The Manchester United board have had talks with Zidane, and Zidane has let the board know that he doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment and prefers to take a break until the summer. Zidane is interested in the Manchester United job, but there's a stumbling block. Zidane's wife is not attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. Reports did say last month that Zidane wasn't interested in the Manchester United job and he was currently enjoying life away from football management. Well, Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane could persuade him to join. Ronaldo wants Zidane at Manchester United, he's already made that clear. Ronaldo knows Zidane well because Ronaldo played under Zidane when he was at Real Madrid. Zidane is managerless. He left Real Madrid in the summer. You've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies. So reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. Zidane has not yet managed in the Premier League, so it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League, revert back to what I've said before. But certainly my preference would be Zidane over Rodgers, because I think Zidane would get Manchester United back to that level where they should be at. He would certainly suit the strappings of the club, and he would get the best out of these group of players. And plus he would be reuniting with Ronaldo and Varane. Erik ten Hag is still being spoken about. Yeah, you've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's been at Ajax for 4 years and he's won quite a few trophies with them, but it did say earlier on this season that Erik ten Hag was reluctant to leave Ajax. But revert back to Solskjaer, when he does get sacked, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. Sacked Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. This season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager, and I did mention at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for him. The expectations are far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager. He's not capable of winning trophies as United manager. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and he's in a position that he shouldn't be in. I hate to say all this regarding Solskjaer, but I'm just being realistic. Like I said, at this moment in time, the club from top to bottom is in a predicament, and the way to get out of this predicament is to get a change of manager. Structural changes are also needed at the club, and there's still deadwood at the club we've got to get rid of next year. Reflecting on our poor performances, Ollie's accountable for some things. Obviously his tactics and his team selections have been questioned a lot. But not all the blame stems from Solskjaer. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. We all adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. At the end of the day, he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. And you know what? he had a proven pedigree when he was a player because he won a lot of trophies as a United player, but unfortunately Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and that is a concern. All he knew when he taken over at Manchester United, it was going to be a massive job, not only a massive job, a difficult job as well, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. You know, he's managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. He's been permanent United manager since March 2019. The reason he got the job on a permanent basis was reflecting how well he did when he first came in. Now the board continue to back Solskjaer. The board backed him very well in this year's summer transfer window. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 were major signings, and Man United spent around £141 million. Solskjaer's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. Plus, Man United have got a very good squad. But the reason we're not getting the best out of a lot of the players is because we're a team of individuals. You know, if we actually played as a team, we'd be up there competing with the likes of City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Manchester United have spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer has signed 14 players. Ollie's also got rid of a lot of players since he's coming. You know, he's loaned players out, he's got rid of players permanently. Some progress has been made under Solskjaer because he's got us to semi-finals. Got us to the FA Cup quarter-final last season. Last season he got us to the Europa League final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately we didn't win it. So there you go, and last season got us a 2nd place finish, and in his first full season he got us a 3rd place finish. At the moment, Manchester United is 6th in the Premier League. Man United have had back-to-back home defeats to Man City and Liverpool. And Man United have only won 1 of their last 6 Premier League games. That's why Solskjaer is under so much pressure. Manchester United are going to offload players next year. Paul Pogba, I think there's a good chance that he's leaving next year, because not so long ago it said Manchester United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Pogba may never play for the club again. Because Pogba's going to be missing the rest of 2021, because Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba has got 1 game now to serve in the league out of the 3-match ban he got. Pogba got sent off in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. There again, Pogba played in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta, and I thought he put a very poor performance out. Reflecting on his poor performance, he got heavily criticised. But Pogba is a good player. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. I want him to stay at Man United. I don't want him to leave. Pogba did enjoy a good start to the Premier League season. You know, so far this season in the league he's got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season. At one point last season, though, he was out with a thigh injury for a while. Was it last week? Reports from France said that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United, but reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So Pogba said he wants to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week, so he's one of the highest paid players as it stands. His current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, he rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. His former club Juventus have been in for him, PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. For quite a while now, though, Pogba's agent Mino Raiola has been working hard to get his client a move away from the football club. Don't forget, back in December last year, Mino Raiola made an announcement regarding Pogba. He came out and said that Pogba's career at Man United was over, and he said he was unhappy and he had to leave and he had no intentions of extending his contract. Man United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, he's our most expensive signing at the moment. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and this season is his 6th season at the club since he rejoined. Matic, I think there's also a good chance that Man United are going to offload him next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his chances. Surprisingly enough, he's ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. He's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder I think Man United have got. I've always had my reservations about Matic, but despite that, he has had his good games at the club. Matic has been at Manchester United for like 4.5 years, got him for 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. I can assure Donny van der Beek's leaving in January. Well, Donny van der Beek's already confirmed that he's going to be leaving in January. The reason he's leaving is because he's obviously not happy at Man United. He hasn't been given enough game time, so reflecting on that, I haven't had much of a perception on him at Man United, but in general, Van der Beek is a good player, and I've said Solskjaer should be starting Van der Beek, especially in the Premier League. Prior to the Liverpool game, Solskjaer made an admission regarding Van der Beek, saying that Van der Beek's frustrated and disappointed over his situation at Old Trafford. And earlier on this season it mentioned that Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer. He's endured a difficult year and a half or so at the club. This season is his 2nd full season at Man United. Got him in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Lingard, I think he's also going next year. It recently said Lingard could leave Manchester United for just 10 million. Well, it's better to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer, because next summer Lingard's current contract expires. Earlier on this season, Lingard rejected a new Man United contract offer because of 2 players. Lingard doesn't really get in the team, does he? He has made a few appearances this season. He has been part of the club though for a long time. Don't forget, he risen up our academy now, and he's had his good periods at Man United. He's had his bad periods as well. At the second half of last season, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham, and he made an impact. Martial, I can assure he's leaving in January. Martial is another one that doesn't really get in the team. He's no longer good enough to represent the club anyway. I'd say he's only had one good season at Man United, and that was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's just come back from injury not so long ago. Last season he was out with a knee injury for a while. Man United got Martial for 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. He's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Solskjaer seems to have a lot of trustworthy in Martial. That explains why Solskjaer gave Martial that number 9 shirt. Cavani, I think he's going to be leaving next year, but I can't say I want him to leave with the impact he's made since he's come to Manchester United. Cavani's actually now out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May Cavani signed that 1-year contract extension. We got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. He's got a good pedigree behind him though. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG. Not only that, he was also a long-serving player when he was at PSG. Mata, he's another one that's leaving next year, I think. Well, his contract at Man United expires next summer. Earlier on this year, he signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended his contract for the further year, because Mata doesn't get in the team. And plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But I still reckon Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. And, we got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for 40 million. Brought him in under the David Moyes era. He's been at Man United now for like 7.5 years, so he has been a long-serving player. Dalot, I think he's going next year. Dalot doesn't really get in the team. Dalot will only play when Bissaka's not available. Dalot's our backup right back to Bissaka. There again, in some of the games Dalot's played in, though, he's done alright. Last season, Dalot was out on loan with AC Milan. Reflecting on that, again, some experience. We got him 3 years ago from Porto. We paid 19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. Tellez, I think he's another one that's leaving the club next year. Tellez is another one that doesn't really get in the team. Tellez will only play when Luke Shaw's not available. And Jones, Bailly, I think he'll be going as well next year. And Dean Henderson wants to go out on loan. So there you go. Like I say, there's very, very good players at Manchester United. Look who we've got. We've got Marcus Rashford, who's good. You've got Greenwood, that's a talented player. You've got Fernandes, that's an exceptional player. You've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. We've got Cavani, that's good, like I've already mentioned. You've got Van der Beek, that's good, but doesn't get enough game time. You've got Pogba, that's a good player. You've got Bissaka, that's a good right back. The defensive side of his game's superb, but he's got to show more attacking intent. That's what's letting him down at the moment. Then you've got Eric Bailly, that's a good centre-half as well, but doesn't get regular game time. He lost his place in the team a while ago with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and Solskjaer prefers Lindelof ahead of Eric Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. You've got Varane, that's a good centre-half, but obviously Varane is out with injury at the moment. second injury he's endured at Man United. He's got a hamstring injury. He's out for another 3 weeks, isn't he? Or something like that. Earlier on this season, he had a groin injury, Varane, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. He initially made his return in that 3-0 win against Tottenham. And you've got Harry Maguire. That's good when he wants to be, but he's been very, very poor this season. He's been even worse since he come back from that calf injury. You know, you've got Luke Shaw, that's a good left back overall, but he's certainly not proven how good he can be this season, because Luke Shaw's been very, very poor this season. I'm sure at some point though Shaw will regain his form. And we've also got De Gea. That's a very, very good goalkeeper. I've got to give him credit because I think De Gea has done really, really well so far this season. And Henderson's a good goalkeeper as well, but obviously he doesn't get in goal now because De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.